Okay.
Mail.
Yeah, the Daily Mail. And I mean, it's just I was just crying. Just it made me sick to my stomach. But this shows again how evil and sick he is.
Mhm.
And I told you guys that it was going to change again. It was going to
He
change.
always does. It's probably going to change again
I
after
don't
this.
believe it. I don't believe it.
I don't either.
I'm looking at the article right now, and I mean, just to me, it doesn't even match up with anything, like the autopsy or anything.
So it says, exclusive. I remember her face getting all black with mascara. Chris Watts confesses by letter how he squeezed wife's jugular and had to smother his little girls twice after they woke to see their mother's blood-filled eyes.
So is he saying that he did this twice in the car because they woke up?
I think this was before Shanann was killed.
Wow.
Well, he attempted to kill the girls before.
He claims, before.
He tried to strangle them. It didn't work.
Smothered. Oh my God. Smothered. He tried to smother with their pillows because he said that's why it shows on the medical examiner says that they were smothered. Well, okay. No. And he said that they were bruised and traumatized after they woke back physically. Up. Yeah, there's no bruising on them. And so I guess he's attempting to marry his two stories, but that is so ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's horrific and just this, But,
do you think honestly that if he had attacked his little girls and then they saw what he says that they saw, that they would just be casually hanging out and
that's exactly what I was
thinking, in the truck
Nikki.
with Daddy? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. Mm-mm. And so I guess because and again, you can pick up on this letter he wrote, the things that people have been saying and questioning, right? So is that the first part of the letter? Let's see. Yeah. So I don't know if y'all can see
a little bit.
If you're on the article, you go. Are you at the bottom of the page?
No, I'm
where they typed it out.
And right here where you can kind of, it says handwritten one.
Oh, at the bottom they have it typed out.
Okay. The bottom. Okay. Okay. So that's the letter. And this is the author of the book. Whatever. The person that was getting the letters from Chris. It was originally supposed to be a testimony of Chris's, how he came to God and the forgiveness he received, right? And then he quickly changed it to God needs me to just get this out. Like this is what happened, And so
God needs you to make sense.
Well, yeah. He said, let's see, Watts also admits to concealing other facts from authorities that he would not talk about on the phone calls from prison to prevent them from being recorded. I don't like saying stuff like that over the phone because I'm never certain when they screen my calls. And then he had previously claimed that it was a spontaneous outburst of rage that led him to kill his wife, who was 15 weeks pregnant with their son, Nico, and his daughter so that he could be with his mistress of 2 months, Nikki, or NK. However, he admitted in a letter that he had been plotting the murders for some time. I believe that. Mm-hmm. August 12th, when I finished up putting the girls to bed, I walked away and said, that's the last time I'm going to be tucking my babies in. I knew that was going to happen. I knew what was going to happen the day before and I did nothing to stop it, he wrote. He also confessed that he had slipped the potent painkiller, oxycodone, to his wife in the hopes of inducing a miscarriage. And this next statement I completely agree with, or I believe he said, I thought it would be easier to be with Nicole if Shanann wasn't pregnant, he wrote. Watts took a plea deal to avoid the death penalty after pleading guilty to the 4 murders. He will spend the rest of his life in prison and is currently being housed at Dodge Correctional Institution, yeah. He should be an institute. Watts, who had turned down dozens of interview requests and received hundreds of letters, appeared to respond to Cato's view that he could still make a difference in other people's lives and that his could be the story of redemption. But she did not sugarcoat the evil of what he had done. Let me just say, the crime was horrific, so I'm not writing you to tell you how wonderful you are or that I want to be pen pals, she wrote in her first letter in February. The 65-year-old grandmother from Northern Illinois wrote 3 times before Watts replied. She subsequently visited him in prison 3 times, with each meeting lasting around 5 hours. That's interesting. After he put her on his visitor list. Since March, she has spoken with him about 3 times a week on the phone. Oh, that's swell. Their most recent conversation took place last week. And this was Shanann and baby Nico. And that's, the horror. After meeting in person, Watts decided to allow Cato to use his letters for her first book, Letters from Christopher, The Tragic Confessions of the Watts Family Murders. He agreed to the book in exchange for Cato's promise that she would publish his testimony of coming to God and the forgiveness he received. Through his letters, Watts also squashes any lingering doubt that Shanann was responsible for her daughter's murders, as he had falsely claimed to the police during his first interviews after the killing. Following the shocking letter about his daughter's ordeal, Cato said she was left with many questions, which Watts answered in later conversations. The 34-year-old described how he killed his wife in grisly detail and recalls how she looked moments before her death as he told her that he wanted a separation and no longer loved her. That's great. Shit. Isn't it weird how I look back and what I remember? Isn't it weird how I look back and what I remember so much is her face getting all black with streaks of mascara? Watts said, yeah, that's very weird. It just shows how evil you are. All the weeks of me thinking about killing her, and now I was faced with it. When she started to get drowsy, I somehow knew how to squeeze the jugular veins until it cut off the blood flow to her brain and she passed out. I knew if I took my hands off of her, she would still keep me from Nikki. I believe that. They asked me why she could. I believe that that's what he was thinking. That's what I meant. They asked me why she couldn't fight back. It's because she couldn't fight back. Her eyes filled with blood as she looked at me and she died. I knew she was gone when she relieved herself. My God, fuck, man. This guy is fucking evil.
That's really deep.
Oh, God. Watts said that, to his surprise, his daughters came walking into the room while he was wrapping Shanann in a bedsheet and began asking, his surprise that they weren't really smothered, and began asking what was wrong with their mom. And he told them she wasn't feeling well. Watts said that he tried to carry Shanann's body downstairs, but she was too heavy and he lost his grip. He ended up dragging her. It's like, God, it's like there's no emotion and there is such like this evil hatred. Mm-hmm. Like just with the mascara, and this is what he remembers, like the pain that she felt, him dragging her down the steps. You know what I mean? Like just violently. It's just like,
and even if this isn't true, he's still like such a fucking psychopath, because this is beyond like, ugh.
It's just it's disgusting. It's disturbing.
I don't think I've ever heard of anything like this in my life. I really don't think I've ever heard of this. A parent speaking like this so nonchalantly. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. And Watts told Cato the girls were just kind of running around the house and watching me with scared looks on their faces. See, again, this scared, like that, like Bella started to cry. And when she did, Celeste started whimpering. What a nightmare this was. Okay. For you or them, I'm not sure, This is a letter that he sent her. Hello, Sherilyn. Hey James, can you narrate this in your crisp voice? Can you see it?
Where is it? Let's see here.
I can.
I can't even read his writing.
Here, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna email it to you. I know, right?
I do have something to add though.
Sure.
So I guess it's reported that Watts, Chrissy boy, he attempted to kill both his daughters, Bella and Celeste, basically at their home, right? Mm-hmm. And before killing the mother, Shanann. So this was initially believed he would, he thought he was successful at this. So in the letter, I guess this is just from sources that I have, it says August 13th. So the morning of, right? Mm-hmm. This whole situation. He says, I went to the girls' room first before Shanann and I had an argument. I went to Bella's room, then CeCe's room, and used a pillow from their bed to kill them, basically. Mm-hmm. That's why the cause of death was smothering after CeCe's room, and then I climbed back in bed with Shanann, and our argument ensued. After Shanann had passed, Bella and CeCe woke back up. I'm not sure how they woke back up, but they did. Bella's eyes were bruised, and both girls looked like they had been through trauma. So the letter states that he tried to kill them and he thought he was successful, but he wasn't. So I do believe that the girls actually went in the truck after that. And then he reports later on that he put the girls in the oil tanks so that they wouldn't get up the second time, which is a very disturbing quote from Chris. Because you know how the whole thing was like they were dead when they were in the tanks, or he was putting them in shoving them in this 8-inch wide hole, which is hard to put a child inside, basically. But he did. But were they dead? I mean, he just says, I had to put the girls in there because I didn't want them to get up the second time. That was his quote. So that's what I'm getting. Sick. And he did this for a side piece named Nicole Kessinger. So I don't even know what to say about that.
It's disgusting. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is pure evil. Pure evil. It really is.
Well, and like Nikki said, even if like this isn't a full detailed truth, again, it's pretty sick that he would even come up with this in his head to even tell somebody. So either way, it's disgusting.
But the fact that he knew he planned it out that he was going to kill the girls first, and then Shanann came home. He had an argument with her. The kids were still alive. Bella has bruises on her eyes because of the whole smothering situation. It is much more disturbing and crazy. And then he's just kind of like in this blasé sort of zombie-like state where he's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take the girls over, put them in the oil tanks, and that should do it. They were alive when they were in the oil tanks, from what he says in this quote that he puts out in this new book. That's my understanding.
No, I think
they weren't.
I think he said he killed them again the second time in the truck. Didn't he say that?
Yes. Yeah. Let's see.
That's what he says. But what his quote is, he says he put the girls in the tank to make sure that pretty much they don't come up the second time.
Yeah,
I thought that was weird. Like,
how
did he think they were going to? What did he think they were going to do? Help each other? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think so first of all, like I said, like, let's see. He had later said, "I realize now, the girls getting out." Wait, hold on. Did I miss a part here? Hold on. I want to make sure I didn't. Hold on. Okay.
And Jamie, can you put the link in again so I could switch over to my computer because it's finally done? I think.
Yes.
Because I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'm hearing that stupid static sound again.
No. Hello, Katie Cat. Okay. But it's in the stream. Or what? It's in the chat. I was looking at my stream. It's in the stream.
Okay, give me a few minutes and I'll be back.
Okay. Yes, and the thing is that, again, it's just what I'm also, and we didn't finish reading that all, but what I'm really seeing is that it's like what he's remembering is the pain he caused. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he's remembering. The fear, he says, that the girls when they're playing in the house while he's dragging Shanann's body down. Again, like I believe again that I think he killed them at the house, but this guy is just a freaking liar. He's a pathological liar and he's a psychopath. And like Nikki said, this is one. I mean, this is
even reading his words, there's no emotion at all in his words at all. Like it's so robotic. It's so weird to read. Like, you know, we know what we're reading, but you would expect to hear or read like something like, you know what I mean? Some remorse. There's nothing here. And that, even like I said, even if it was all lies, which I do believe it is bullshit, the fact that he could even write something like this is indicative of an actual psychopath. Like I was looking at like I think you're right. Like he's taking bits and pieces of things that he's heard, like the oxycodone, for example. You know, he just says, "Oh, because I gave it to her."
Right.
Like that's such a basic sentence. Just, "Oh yeah, gave it to her," and they should. I don't know.
Oh, to reference my source, this article was written about 8 hours ago on crimeonline.com. So if you guys want to go check, I try to put the link in the comment section, but if you want to go read the article, because he talks about, this is a quote specifically from Chris Watts. He's saying, I had to put the girls in the tanks, the oil tanks, so they wouldn't get up the second time, because he tried to kill them initially at the home. But it was unsuccessful. He thought he killed them, but they didn't. And they're walking around. And then he's like, what the fuck? And, you know, and then killed them eventually at the oil tanks. So I wouldn't put it past Chris that he probably put the girls in there alive. Because why would he say, I had to put the girls in the tank so they wouldn't get up the second time?
Well, I think because they didn't have oil in their lungs and stuff. Which they would have if they were still alive. But I believe that if, according in his sick head, that if he smothered them and miraculously they both were still alive, then maybe he was like, well, they rose once from the dead. I don't want them to do it again. So if I put them in a tank, then I know for darn sure they're not going to get out. I mean, that's
I see Chris doing that. He's that stupid. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and just sick and just like, my God. Thank you, Blimful Beauties. Hey, AJ. Yeah.
But as much as he knew about the oil industry and all of that, like, how could he possibly think that even if they weren't, I just don't understand. How did he think the girls could possibly escape? Even if they were in the same, you know, it just, nothing makes sense in that letter.
No, I mean, there's definitely flashes of truth that I see. And there are some things that have remained the same. Like, you know, she defecated after, that he wrapped her body in the sheet, that he dragged her down the stairs. Those are consistent. The smothering, you know, and
no, I mean the new things that he's talking about. I don't because he contradicts himself. One minute he says that, you know, Bella came into the room while he was wrapping Shanann in the sheet, but then he mentions that they saw their mothers. Didn't he say they saw their mothers, like her eyes?
I mean,
he's just all over the place.
Well, he talks about Bella's eyes being bruised.
And she didn't have bruises.
After the first attempt, before killing Shanann.
I thought he said the girls saw her eyes, though. I may be wrong.
Yeah, like he said, yeah, but I'll look at it again and I want to find that other one that James, like.
I put in the private chat. I'm not sure if we got it or not, but on StreamYard.
There we go.
But it's just crazy. I mean, what is Chris Watts like? What's the purpose here? We know where he's an idiot and stuff, and he's not that bright. But like, why is he coming out now and having all these new quotes and stuff? And like,
I think he's trying to profit. I know he can't. I know that he can't.
Commissary stuff, like for his.
No. I think he probably has a deal with this author to maybe pay off his family, or I don't know, but or he's just I don't know.
I mean,
That's crazy.
or I found that one. Thanks, James. Let me pull it up.
Sure. Yeah, that's the newest one there. And the title says it all. But if you look at the article, you see exactly kind of what went on with Chris. And he tried to kill the girls first before Shanann. It was unsuccessful. He thought he killed them, but he was unsuccessful because he's an idiot. And but it's so sad to hear that the girls were still alive and they're kind of like bouncing up and down, just kind of like out of it when Shanann's dying. And it's just like, what's going on? Bella's got bruised eyes because of the smothering and all that. So it's like when Chris says he went to the site and killed the girls, I don't know if that's even true anymore. I thought it was true.
But what did I say? I said, no, like, that he's going to change. He's going to change. It's going to keep changing because he's a liar. And it's like, and he is getting some sick, sadistic pleasure from this.
But how horrifying is it that your own father actually dumps you in an oil tank just to make sure that you're dead?
It's horrific. It's horrific.
That's worse. I mean, might as well just kill him in the truck like you said you did. I mean, that's crazy. But
kind of sounds sick, but he's sick anyways. But I don't know. It almost feels like he's hanging on to it because maybe it's his only way of hanging on to them by staying on it and not. Does that make sense?
So he can keep killing them over and over. That makes sense.
Or just hanging on. Yeah, somehow
he keeps killing them, and for his